The WunderWaffe is an iconic weapon from Call of Duty Zombies, and aside from stealing your Juggernog and Reese in the World at War game, it's pretty good. I had a good few memories with the gun myself. It was always exciting, but as time went on, it obviously did not stay as popular as it was because of things like the zap guns and Slickfire coming out, just for examples. So yeah, this video is just me actually making the weapon that I've had fond memories of, and I'm sure a lot of Call of Duty Zombies fans have as well. The way I started with this was to work from the right side of the weapon across the left side. I found it easier because if I was starting from the actual gun barrel itself where all the lightning comes out, then it wouldn't have gone too well. It had to be done in parts just so it would actually be able to, I could stick the pieces together, and then eventually I could just touch up it at the end, which I did off screen. The only problem I have with the actual weapon as a whole itself now, when I'm doing it here, is that I've made it incredibly flat, and I've only put the detail on one side of it, but I couldn't really stick it up right any other way, even if I wanted to. I would have to do a lot of detail from the back, and you never really see it from the back, so there was no point. I started off with this part by elongating it and then flattening it down more, just because the rest of the gun itself will be flat, so it kinda had to all be even. So it's around this point here where I'm starting to actually fill in some of the details in the weapon itself, like the tiny light looking thing that's at the front just before where the barrel and claw part come out of it. This is all about the actual attachments of the weapon itself. So there's just a lot of few tiny things that I had to add in, and then the ones that I didn't add in, which I would have done in the video, but it would have took even longer, and I didn't want this to be too long. I just did them off screen. The gun barrel itself was probably the most tricky part of the entire weapon that I tried to make, because I had to do a couple of cylinder like bits, and then after that it was a lot of sticking tiny like lines of it together, and it gives it the illusion that it looks bigger than it actually is. With this I started by rolling up 2 tiny bits, one smaller than the other, and then from there I'm just wrapping more bits around the second tube, which is smaller than the big one. So for the claw itself, which was the last like major piece of the weapon that I had to do, it was just one starting with another tube, wrapping that around it, and then just pulling out long bits and then bending them while I stick them on the very left side of the weapon, and that there gives the claw-like appearance. I think the end result looks pretty solid, and I'll probably move on to doing stuff like the Thundergun and whatnot, or Zapguns. So if you're watching and you enjoy this type of stuff, just stick around for more of these type of videos. I'm currently working on more stop motion and whatnot, so see you around.